Retrain WCW.
What in the hell is he doing here? Monday Night Raw. Monday Nitro. He is broken.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Brett Screw Brett. The new world order, brother. Let's get this. We are at war.
Whew. Let's get going. Pretend nothing happened.
Monday Nitro, number 181, March 1st, 1999. David Flair and Tori Wilson are in a limo.
I have never been so happy that we have video. I don't give a shit about anybody else. I want that for the rest of my life.
That will be gift, and then that needs to be your new avatar.
Someday my daughter will cry with laughter
Oh, look at my stupid
watching that on a loop. All right.
The gymnast.
Yeah, where are we?
David Flair and Tori Wilson are in a limo.
Oh, yeah.
They are playing voicemails from Rick and laughing at him. I thought this went on for hours. Mm-hmm. Eventually they said Rick should retire.
Oh, is that what she said?
Yeah.
I thought she said, so he's going to die.
Maybe.
There was
I
some
played
mention
it
of
3
dying.
times. And I couldn't figure out.
They mumbled, and the audio was bad, and they are disinterested. This is the worst on-screen couple I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah. I think she said.
Really, it's just David.
I guess she must have said retired. I thought she said, so he's going to die. And then David said, yeah, it's about time.
Oh, now they retired then.
Okay.
They're not that evil.
Okay.
The top she was wearing was tremendous, though.
Then there was David. Not
got-
tremendous.
Yeah, there's 3 boobs. No?
So the announcer said...
Nothing's going to top the start of the show, Craig, so you may as well just give up.
The announcer said Ric Flair would make an announcement tonight. Had the finish of the Goldberg-Steiner match last week, and then Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell came out for a promo. Buff showing off his abs and cackling at them was the best. Golden. They ran down the fans, they ran down the local sports ball team, they liked the other sports ball team, and they called out Rick Steiner and Goldberg for tonight. Ricky Rackman was at a Nitro party. It looked lame. The Nitro girls were fucking around at the North Carolina campus.
Where are we?
Nothing's happened yet.
No.
Okay, have we talked about Steiner's promo?
I glossed over it.
Okay.
It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So they've announced there's going to be a tag team match tonight. Did
Well, they
you
should
mention that?
challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is going to be one.
As it turns out, there is.
Yeah.
So Kevin Nash, Lex Luger, Disco Inferno, and Elizabeth come out. So Lex's arm is in this giant brace. Mm-hmm. Like the biggest brace you've ever seen in your life.
And he got hurt.
Sure.
Yeah.
He also appears to be wearing a white rubber sleeve underneath it.
Well, I mean, it's like, we're watching the old NWA shows, and what's his face got the gimmick from the future?
Oh, Chris Champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now it's the future. He's wearing the same thing.
It's actually,
Right?
It's not quite 2002 yet.
But, I mean, he's on the way.
I don't know. All I knew was we never did find out. He got hurt and had surgery. He got a brace on his arm. Fine. Why is his hand glimmering white?
Well, maybe they cut into his hand a little bit, and they put a glove on it so it wouldn't get infected.
That makes sense. There's an answer.
Or maybe he's faking it, and it's a mannequin hand, and he's got his hand down his shirt.
No, he's hurt.
Okay.
Just his hand. His arm is legit. But his
You know
hand
the
is
best
somehow-
part of this segment was? I'm going to tell you the best part of this segment.
I don't actually.
Okay.
It wasn't very good.
At the beginning of the show, as we noted, David's getting voicemails
Yeah.
on his cell phone.
Yes.
Then here, Nash says, we're going to offer Rey Mysterio a spot here in the Wolfpack. We got another giant oversized shirt for him. We know that attracts him based on previous storylines.
Like a moth to the flame.
He goes, I'll give him a call. And they call him. And as he's dialing, Tony Schiavone mockingly says,
Oh, yeah.
oh, everybody has a cell phone now.
Yes.
I was like, little do you know, buddy.
In fact, everybody
Well,
does
you
have...
should have talked to Chris Champion.
Wang's got 2.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a burner.
He's got 2 phones. I don't know what he does with them. I have to take that with him.
One's a work phone, one's a personal phone.
So anyway, here, yeah, that was the whole bit. Lex said he forgave whoever hurt him, which I don't know who it is.
Ray.
Oh,
But I mean, we don't know that.
okay.
There's been no...
Yeah.
Like-
he never named him, did he?
You watch
No.
this show, and 1 week, Luger's just got his arm in a giant brace. I think he said this was like his first ever injury. I'm like, didn't you have a metal plate put inside that arm? That's a pretty
did.
significant injury.
It is. So Nash forgives Ray for beating him last week.
That you use as a finish.
Yeah, it was a gimmick. Yes, they say Ray we want you in the Wolfpack. Ray does not appear. Then they call Ray, let him know he has a spot, and Nash says, "Oh, You're not interested? Okay. And he puts down the phone, and they all hang their heads, and they all slink to the back. I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
That's what happened here. Nash and Luger and Disco and Liz.
You know, I thought they were fucking around until later it turned out they weren't. They really wanted him. That was.
I guess.
That was legitimately their offer, because later they beat him up for not accepting it.
Well, I think they're going to beat him up one way or the other.
Well, maybe, but I mean, if he'd accepted, maybe he'd just be a cool little member.
I took this as making a sarcastic joke out of the whole thing.
Could have been.
Because I don't think their feelings would have been that hurt.
Well, I mean, they probably knew he would say no, but what if he said yes?
They would have beat him up.
Maybe. They had Disco in there.
That's a solid point, actually. Had a Booker T, Bret Hart video package. Psychosis and Kidman. This was fun.
Wait a second. Where the hell are you? Oh, there
First
you are.
match.
Okay, go on.
Psychosis and Kidman. This was fun.
Somehow
Yes.
I missed that. Yeah, you know what this was?
Fun?
Do you know we just watched before this damn show, before you got here, Vinny?
I don't.
205 Live.
Yeah.
Okay? Which actually is better now.
It was really good.
But I'm watching this match, and guess what the crowd was into?
The match?
These fucking little guys flying around.
Ah, yes.
Kidman does a high cross off the post. Psychosis does a guillotine leg drop off the post as Kidman is wrapped up in the ropes. Kidman does a diving hurricane run off the barricade. Every time they left their feet, the fans go nuts.
Yeah.
Hello?
Did they do a lot of flying on 205 Live?
Well, I mean, they're doing a little more now, but still, it's a heavyweight match with little guys. Why is this so fucking hard? Why even have a cruiserweight division? I'm wasting my time. I'm just pointing it out.
So yeah, they went back and forth the whole way, working their asses off. The crowd was into everything. And finally, Kidman won with the powerbomb counter and the shooting star press. A win this was. Arn Anderson confronts David Flair in the locker room.
I gotta admit, David was better than usual.
He was better here than he was in the limo.
Arn was incredible. And I have to say, I'm not just saying this because Tori Wilson, she was like impossibly good. She's been there for like 3 weeks. She totally held her own in this thing right here.
Well,
Right?
Okay, that point taken, but she was standing next to David Flair.
It doesn't matter. Like,
No, it does.
she was actually good. And he was okay. She's better than half the WWE women's roster today. But she did it for like 3 weeks.
David Flair's face was as red as, well, when you took your little tumble there.
It's always like that.
I know. What's up with that?
He's doing a lot of falling out of chairs.
I see.
I believe that, actually.
Yeah.
Not for 1 second do I doubt that. So, Arn's the best moment part of this whole thing, Arn's appalled that Dave is going to turn his back on his family. He names them off. Reed, Ashley, Megan, your dad, me, Uncle Arn. You're going to throw it all away for that? And he points at Tori. And David immediately says, yeah,
Yeah.
it's Tori Wilson.
Hello?
I don't blame him.
Do it twice.
Maybe 3 times on Sunday.
They jibber-jabbered for a while. Arn tried to plead his case, and they just blew him off as being old and out of touch. And eventually Arn said, I'm leaving. I promised your dad I wouldn't lay a finger on you, but you have been warned.
I walk out this door. It's all over.
That's right.
And he walked out the door.
It's over. Hulk Hogan is with Vincent.
Is this ever going to end?
No.
Okay, the first week, it was like kind of funny. And then the second week, it was a little more funny because they were just going back on what they did. Now it's stupid.
So, go ahead.
The first thing he said is, Hogan, you look good in those glasses, Vince. And he's wearing the exact same glasses.
That's some Hogan has, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So Hogan tells Vince, Stevie Ray is jealous that I put you in charge of the black and white. If Stevie Ray speaks up tonight, you have my permission to slap him silly. And they talk about how that's going to happen.
Whoop-de-doo.
So dumb.
More with Ricky Rackman.
So dumb.
Bam Bam Bigelow versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
This was fun.
By the end, it was.
Yeah.
There was I've never seen a match with one guy doing so many just absurd, impressive power spots that was still so boring.
It's like he practiced with Spike Dudley all those years.
Yeah, I had the same thought.
Okay.
They did a Spike Dudley match.
Yeah.
With a detail here. No disrespect to anyone. Rey Mysterio is better than Spike Dudley.
That's fair.
Yep. So they all the same power spots, the one-handed suplex, the press slam where I'll carry you around the ring for a minute and then throw you out of the ring onto a dozen guys. Just random security dudes fortunate enough to be there. And it went through I think it went through a commercial. It felt like it went through a commercial. Oh, that's right. It didn't go to a commercial. I stand corrected. The second hour pyro went off.
That's right.
Oh, yeah,
the
right in
match.
the middle of the match.
Yes. For like 30 seconds.
Crazy. Remember they did this like months ago and it was so stupid? Like no matter what was going on.
Yes.
At the top of
For
the
like the
second
first
hour,
year.
they'd blow shit up.
Well, like the first year they did it, and I think they
No,
realized
no. There was they didn't do it. They would have a segment would end, then they'd do it.
I see.
There was a while where it didn't matter what was going on.
Right.
They were going to blow that shit off at the top of the hour. And it was stupid. And
Yeah.
they got rid of it. Well, we don't learn. Hey, I got a great idea. At exactly 9 o'clock, in the middle of this Bam Bam Bigelow Rey Mysterio match, let's blow a bunch of shit up for 30 seconds.
There's fire and sparklers and crackling and smoke and electricity for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it finally stops, and they go back to the ring, and Bam Bam is bewildered. What just happened in the middle of my match? He looks up, and he looks around, make sure the building's not like exploding or on fire or anything. And the match continues, and Ray makes his comeback and hits a victory roll out of nowhere for the win. Everyone went for the crazy for the finish.
They went crazy for the finish, and I guess it was kind of cool. They're kind of getting this giant killer thing over, but it's so fluky.
Yes.
This is the second week in a row it's been a total fluke. Like, he falls on a guy, he rolls up a guy. Like, it's a cool little thing to cheer for, but he ain't getting over. He's no more over now than he was before when he was masked.
No.
They're acting like, oh man, you're way more over now.
No.
They're trying to play to his ego by beating these men.
Bam Bam, for being as big as he is, sure took that victory roll like a champ.
Well, Bam Bam was, in fact, awesome.
Yeah.
Mean Gene interviewed Ray backstage immediately afterwards. It was funny because they were using a boom mic for this shot instead of a handheld. So Gene's hands were free and he had no idea what to do with them. He hadn't been on camera without a mic in probably 30 years.
Should have just gave him a mic.
Yeah. So Ray is talking about how he likes to inspire other small people. When the Wolfpack jump him and beat him up, and they said he should have taken the shirt. Suddenly, Bam Bam Bigelow is in another part of the backstage. He's having a brawl with Raven. Now,
What in the hell was this? Now,
it is exactly what I just said.
I kind of got a little mad about it because it was just so random. But then after I watched Raw, it's like, this is fine, But Bigelow just had a match.
Yeah.
And now suddenly he's backstage with Raven brawling.
Yes.
The fucking Sandman shows up. Now he's just Hack.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, hey, it's Hack.
Wasn't he Jim before?
He was Jim, Raven's buddy Jim before. Now they're having hardcore brawls backstage with Bam Bam Bigelow.
I think he had a match with no name, right?
He came out with a fake barbed wire wrapped around him and had a match.
Yeah,
They didn't know who it was.
Yep.
I think it was against Bam Bam.
So he fucking hits a bunch of guys with his cane, including a cameraman. That was at least cool.
Did anyone know? I think her name was Chastity.
Yeah.
She was here. No one
Oh,
identified
is that
her.
who that was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
No one
Cool.
identified her. No one named her. Just a random woman in the shot. Now, I will say the important details. They had this three-way brawl and nothing happened. Who watched Raw first? I watched Raw first.
I
Craig?
watched Raw first.
Craig, you, Brian watched Raw last. Okay. We watched the hardcore brawls on Raw. There's a lot of them. And then you watch this one. This one was so much better.
Yeah.
Such a
true.
better brawl.
Yeah, they just had a quick brawl. I mean, it's Raven, Sandman, and Bigelow. Yeah, it's better.
They've done this once or
They
twice.
have Bob Holly, and who the fuck was he brawling with?
Al Snow and Road Dogg.
Al Snow and Road Dogg. Road Dogg's good, but... So yeah, but the best shot was Hack is just whacking everybody with his stick, and then he just turns and he whacks us.
Yes.
And the camera just goes, what? And you see these feet come up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That was
I
awesome.
I saw that earlier in the show.
Yeah, it's the second time today.
Ric Flair arrived. He was not happy. Nash and Luger met with Stevie
Mine
Ray.
was a shoot.
Nash and Luger met with Stevie Ray, said he needed to take Vincent out. Jerry Flynn comes out.
Okay, if you say one bad thing about Jerry Flynn, Vinny, there's going to be another fight, okay? I like Jerry Flynn.
Thunderfoot or
Lightning Foot.
Lightning Foot.
Don't make fun of Jerry Lynn.
Lightning
or Jerry
Foot?
Flynn. Yeah,
He has a bullet.
Jerry
Lightning
Flynn
Foot.
is an underrated wrestler.
That's actually true.
Yeah, he's in there with Shat. What the fuck do you want? He sucks.
Well, you're cutting way ahead. You're jumping the gun.
Yeah,
here.
you are.
I am. I'm trying to get this over with. I like the guy. I don't need to talk about this too much.
Jerry Flynn gets to cut a promo.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine, but it's one of those. Why is Jerry Flynn cutting a promo? He's calling out Ernest Miller so they can have a karate fight.
Yeah, he wants a karate match.
Yes.
Remember that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Kat's fucking around backstage when Scott Norton arrives and asks, "Where's your heart? Where's your guts?" He's calling you out. You got to go fight him. So he can't, kill his manhood get challenged like this. He's got to go fight him. So out comes the Cat. What in the fuck?
I think they gave him James Brown music.
Yes.
But they had to
They couldn't.
not...
On Nitro in '99,
Yes.
they were playing a James Brown
Yes.
song. They can't on the network, so they had to play something else.
Yes.
Right.
Why couldn't they play his music?
There's hundreds of other songs they could have played.
But Vinny,
Maybe thousands.
they have his music. They use it to this day.
That's true. It's
Why the fuck couldn't they just
Brodus
dub it
Clays.
back in?
Yeah. Or the one he used 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah, this was appalling.
I don't. This is the worst song I've ever heard in my life. I was just laughing my ass off listening to it.
It was so bad.
He comes out there. He's upset with the lasers. He's upset with the snow. He's protesting everything. And then he goes to charge Jerry Flynn, but he misses and grabs the referee's feet instead. He does like the baseball slide into the ring.
Yeah.
And grabs the ref's feet. And he looks up, and there's no mullet. It's a ref. And they start to do a fight.
Yeah. No, Vinny. Stop. They're supposed to be doing a karate match.
That's right.
Shat puts him in a fucking chin lock. For how long? 5 minutes?
At least.
I mean, it went on. They go to a commercial. They come back. There's a fucking chin lock. I'm like, in what karate are you applying chin locks when you're having a karate fight?
So the crowd saying it's boring. I agreed with them. There was some god-awful grappling.
Flynn's doing his best. No, Vinny, what happened? It was god-awful, but it was like a shoot. Ernest Miller...
It was shoot off.
Ernest Miller decides, I am going to do a scissor takedown
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't,
on Jerry Flynn.
didn't go well.
So he like flies in, he drops down, he scissors his legs on the guy, and he tries to take him down.
Yeah. The RVD
He
move.
fucks it up.
Yeah.
And so Jerry Flynn just mounts him and starts punching him right in the head.
Yep.
That was the best thing in the entire match. I loved it.
That's probably fair.
And what was the finish of this karate fight?
Well, there was, by the end, there was some karate. They each did a kick or two, and they both hit roundhouse kicks simultaneously, and they both go down. The ref announces...
What are you sighing for? It's a karate fight.
I understand.
That happens.
Sure, all the time, I'm sure.
The ref announces, or has the ring announcer announce, that both men are down. We will do a standing 10 count, and the first man to his feet will win. So he starts to count. He gets to about 4, and Ernest, from his feet, reaches over and grabs the ref. This distracts the ref. Flynn gets to his feet. Sonny Ono hits the ring. Sonny kicks Flynn down, leaves the ring. Cat stands up. Cat's up. Flynn's down. Cat wins. And that means we heard his music again.
Can you believe that on the same night we had a karate fight and we had a kendo stick fight?
That happened.
And both of them had a fuck finish.
Yes.
Why? Couldn't one guy just beat the other in the karate fight?
I don't know.
This feud must continue.
It must.
Somebody had to be protected here. Stupid. But I like Jerry Flynn. Did I mention that? He's very underrated.
Jerry Flynn is very fun to watch.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinny.
Perry Saturn versus Hugh Morris.
How many times did Hugh Morris put this guy in a chin lock?
It was not a very good match.
They fucking hired this guy to run developmental. He sucks.
So what I noticed from this match, mainly because it sucked so bad, I was paying attention to other stuff too. You know who else noticed it sucked? Bobby Heenan. We are to the point. Bobby Heenan gave zero
done.
fucks. He didn't care about anything. He's making jokes about the city.
Well, he cared about Goldberg.
I'll get
true.
I'll have more to say about Heenan throughout this. But he's making jokes about the city and the schools and other sports and people and humans hanging from rafters. Some very inappropriate jokes. Again, the crowd is chanting boring, and I agreed with him again. So Jimmy Hart takes the ref. Chris Jericho runs out, hits Saturn with a chain, and Morris hits the moonsault for the win. And Jericho celebrates like it was his win, and that's that. Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell, I believe they invented Bang Bus. They had the bus and the Hummer, and they talk about driving this bus around the country and picking up women and doing all sorts of lewd things to them. That was the whole segment.
Excuse me, what'd they invent?
Look it up.
How's your safe search? That turned
You
out?
know what the funniest thing about this thing was? Besides your description of it? Scott Steiner is supposed to be a total ladies' man.
Sure.
Talks about the hooches and
That's not a ladies' man.
whatever his line is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's got 25, he's got freaks, he's got women lined up, blah, blah, blah. Every time they do a segment, and there's an actual good-looking woman in the scene with him, he fucking turns into a little boy.
Yes.
He was so awkward when this hot girl showed up. He just kind of clammed up and just kind of smiled a little bit. And he's still supposed to be Scott Steiner. He can't. This was like those early segments he did with Hulk Hogan. He was so nervous when she showed up.
The joke I wrote was the bus's couch is still in therapy.
That's a good one, too.
Thank you.
Back at the Nitro party, they were not having as much fun as Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell on their bus. They were playing Twister and eating pizza. Chris Benoit versus...
Excuse me, they were playing Twister?
Yeah. Never played Twister before?
No, it's a shitty party.
Yes.
Depends on how you play it.
Were the girls playing at least?
I don't even
fast
think so.
forward through this shit. I do not
think it was
watch the
dudes.
Nitro party with Ricky Rackman.
The Nitro girls were like reffing the pizza eating contest.
Yeah.
So Chris Benoit wrestled
You
Bret
need a
Hart.
referee for a pizza eating
Yeah,
contest.
same for the Nitro girls to do. They weren't going
Like-
to touch these guys.
Whoever eats the most wins, right?
Yeah.
Is there another aspect to this contest?
Or who eats it fastest.
Oh, I see. That maybe you need a ref for that.
This is where the show turned around.
Excuse me, Chris Benoit, Bret Hart turned
Yeah.
the show around. Wow.
Yeah, write that
Well,
down.
You know it did.
It did. And,
Since when was this a match? They had the very famous match after Owen Hart died.
Yes.
This is like a forgotten awesome match.
Yeah.
The World Championship
Probably
match
because
later in the year.
yeah, the finish sucked. I think
It
that's
did.
probably why
It did.
it was forgotten. But they beat the shit out of each other. Like Bret tried to break his neck twice.
Oh,
Benoit chopped the shit out of him. Like Bobby Heenan doesn't give a shit about anything
except
Right.
except
when it's good.
wrestling.
When it's actually really good wrestling. And he was so enthusiastic about this 10 minutes after. It was amazing.
He says, I once saw another crippler, Ray Stevens, and he is the greatest wrestler I've ever seen. But Benoit may be a step above. I was like, whoa.
Yep.
Watching Benoit fight out of the corner is amazing.
Watching him do anything.
He was spectacularly great at his job.
Gosh.
So the finish is as Brett goes for a suplex and they end up both falling out, tumbling over the ropes. It was the second time Brett fell on his head.
That was scary.
It was terrifying. And Brett goes back in. Benoit's still on the floor. Out come Kurt Hennig and Barry Windham. They attack him with the tag belts. They throw him in the ring. I think, okay, Brett's going to pin him. Great. No, Brett puts him in the sharpshooter. Well, okay, he's passed out. The ref will stop the match. Brett wins. Great. No, Benoit gets the ropes. Brett won't let go. It's a DQ. Why?
Well, that wasn't a great finish.
No,
There
it was
was nothing
awful.
on the line.
I don't blame them.
He just wanted to hurt the guy.
I guess.
All I know is I was reading the Observer report of this match, and Dave was not a fan of Brett in this match. He was like, he wasn't very good here. What? Was there another match I missed? Brett was awesome in this match.
Both guys were awesome.
I mean, Benoit was also awesome, but I didn't see anybody half-assing it here.
No.
Let's put it that way.
No. So all three guys were beating up Benoit, and Malenko tried to run out and make the save, but there were still three of them, and now one of him, and they beat him up too. My other takeaway from this,
They choked him out with a belt.
They choke him out with a belt.
Tried to kill him.
My takeaway from this, I don't think this is where they go. I don't actually remember. But Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, and Barry Windham would be an awesome second-generation grizzled vet stable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
they would.
rule.
And man, what a West Texas redneck Brett would have been.
He was from
'Cause
Calgary.
He used to be Cowboy Bret Hart.
He was Cowboy Bret Hart. He was in the Calgary Stampede. He was on Lonesome Dove.
They dropped the ball again.
Hulk Hogan and all his flunkies came out for a promo, like dozens of people.
This amused
Okay.
me because there's two guys in the front row. They decided they hate the NWO. They're in Flair country. They stand up and turn their backs to the ring and just flipping them off the whole time.
Let's listen. I wasn't even watching anybody except Vincent and Stevie Ray.
Okay, I'm glad, because I didn't see them until they started fighting.
I didn't either. That's
Nice.
the point. All these fucking idiots come out. They're there. They take an hour to come to the ring. Hogan is doing some stupid promo. He's just rambling on. It's just lame. And all of a sudden, in the middle of this, I guess Stevie said something to Vincent. Hogan told Vincent to punch the guy.
Yeah,
Fucking Vincent and Stevie Ray start brawling.
yeah.
In the middle of this promo.
In the middle of a Hulk Hogan promo.
Hogan just keeps talking.
Yes, he does.
He's got things to say, brother. Nash is the instigator to this whole thing.
That's what we were
He's
told.
over in Stevie Ray's ear the whole time.
Was he?
Yes.
Okay. Because I
Why would you do this here? Why did
don't
Hogan
know.
keep talking? What the fuck was going on here?
eventually they take Geeks took Vincent away. And by Geeks, I mean like Norton and I don't know. Brian
Norton
Adams
is not a
somebody.
geek.
No.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
No.
Brian
He's
Adams
not.
is a geek.
Low-ranking NWO people, I should say.
Yes.
You know,
C-teamers.
Hogan ignores them and moves on, and he had nothing else to say. Yeah, this is all very strange.
Well, thankfully, Ric Flair had something to say.
Good Lord, did he?
Before that, there was a Conan rap video. I have one comment. It's really a question.
We saw it last week.
Yeah, same one from last week.
Well, I missed this detail last week, but I caught it this week. Why did he never wear this red pimp suit to the ring?
Well,
This zoot suit, I believe it's called. Out of this world.
Well, I think Pitbull actually bought the used thing.
It's not his
He's
anymore.
still using it, except he can't get the tie done.
Aha. All right.
I told you it was a good video.
This once I noticed this red pimp
Yep.
suit. It's,
See, I told you. I told you last
amazing.
week. Nobody ever listens to me.
Then Ric Flair came out for a promo. It was funny because he's standing there. He's basically being Richard Fleer. And Gene asks a question, and he begins. He thanks everyone and says, "Don't worry, I'm going to start slow. Then I'll let it build and crank it up for you." Mm-hmm. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
He didn't lie. He delivered.
Listen, when I say nobody ever listens to me, listen to me here. I have said it before. I will say it again. We've been watching 3 years of NWA shows from the peak of the Horsemen in the 80s. Flair was a great promo. He's way better in the 90s. Am I wrong about that? His promos here in the 90s have been out of this world. I'm not saying his 80s promos were not good.
Yeah. They're different.
This promo was so awesome. Building up this cage match with Hulk Hogan.
If you can't believe this, if you've only seen his Attitude Era stuff, in the 90s he was more realistic. In the 80s he was a cartoon villain.
Well, he was a different kind of cartoon villain. He was a cartoon villain in WWE too.
Yeah.
But here he was a guy.
He was a guy who was
He
having
was
some
using
problems with
his
the sun.
real life issues.
Yeah. So, he said for 2 weeks, his buddy Arn wanted to beat David's ass. And everyone he met, everywhere he goes, and if you're Ric Flair, you go everywhere and meet everyone. And they all ask, why did David join Hogan's crew? He said he knew what David was going through, because 20 years ago, he too had met a hot blonde who changed his life. And then, as promised, he cranked it up and went off. He begins to list North Carolina sports legends. Everyone's going crazy. And the peak of all this is he announces for uncensored, in however many weeks, the main event is himself versus Hulk Hogan in a steel cage match with barbed wire at the top.
Says no way in, no way out. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like 1985, brother. We're going to sweat, pay the price, and we are going to give America what they have not seen in 10 years.
You should say that.
He also said we're going to fill our shoes. I'm guessing with blood.
They're going to have it out once and for all. One of us walks in, one of us walks out. This promo was so awesome. But I will say, he did completely blow off the entire angle with David.
Yes.
He does not care.
Well, he knows how dumb it is.
Or he just, in the bottom of his heart, he cannot blame his son for doing what it
That's
takes.
what it really is.
With Troy
He
Wilson.
was like, I'd do the same thing, brother.
And he's probably, honestly, I won't even go there. Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell versus Rick Steiner and
I'm
Goldberg.
sure he had an ulterior motive.
He probably had some.
He didn't bury Tori.
He did not bury Tori.
No.
So, before we get to the main event, the match itself, I just wanted a comment about something different. They're all making their entrances, and the announcers say, hey, we're getting more matches for Uncensored all the time.
Where was Buffer?
I don't know. I didn't even notice until you brought it up right now.
Yeah.
I noticed immediately. They flew him in last week to not announce a main event. It's
true.
And then we actually have a fucking main event with main eventers with a finish. Oh, we don't need
Maybe they realized they didn't need him.
Maybe he realized he was so insulted last week they didn't use him. They don't deserve a man of his talents.
Vinny, if you knew what they paid him,
Yeah.
I'm aware.
he was not insulted.
No.
He was overjoyed.
Yeah.
I don't have to write the card.
I don't know how to get on a plane. I can stay home. So, the announcers are talking about Uncensored, how matches are getting added to the card all the time. And they announce, added to Uncensored, a pay-per-view event, which you must pay money to watch. Jerry Flynn in a handicap match against Kat and Sonny Ono.
What's wrong with that?
Brian,
It was built up perfectly here on this show.
I like Jerry Flynn as much as you do, okay?
Dude, come on.
Sonny Ono.
We haven't used this in a while. This match is no buys.
Oh, come on, Vinny.
that
Get out
match
of here.
sold 0.
Get out of here.
No one bought Uncensored.
What the hell year was this? 99?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm going to look at a card here.
Okay.
I'm going to find out if that's the worst match here on the show.
I bet you it's not.
All right, here's the lineup. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, so fuck you. You know what's on this show?
Wow.
No.
Tell me which you would rather.
Oh, I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Oh, yeah.
I think I know.
Stevie Ray versus Vincent.
You're right. I would rather watch Jerry Flynn than that.
Thank you.
It's not close. Oh, God.
Here's the lineup. We got Billy Kidman, Mikey Whipwreck.
Oh.
Look at that.
That, you know what? Mikey got in trouble for this match.
I vaguely remember
He
this.
got in trouble because he did too good. He was just on Lance's show talking about this.
How about that? Stevie Ray versus Vincent. Harlem Street Fight for leadership of the NWO Black and White. Whew. You want to know who wins?
Harlem Heat's not in it?
Kevin Nash
One of them is.
versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh, good.
3 guesses what happens there, if you can't figure it out. Jerry Lynn versus Ernest Miller versus
Flynn.
Sonny. Oh, no. Flynn, yes. You know, they're both great. Interchangeable in many ways.
Same mullet.
Hack versus Bam Bam Bigelow versus Raven. Falls Count Anywhere.
Remember that
With
was-
Chastity.
That was fun, I remember.
Benoit Malenko versus Hennig and Wyndham in a lumberjack match for the titles. Barry Saturn, Chris Jericho dog collar match. Booker T, Scott Steiner, and Ric Flair versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
There you go.
So they've been the Malenko thing. They've been using straps on him the whole time, so it leads to a lumberjack match.
Of course.
That makes total sense.
Well, I mean, they can get the straps maybe and whack them. I don't know.
It could be lumberjacks with straps. or
Okay.
something,
6 minutes and 30 seconds for that Stevie Ray Vincent match. Can you fucking imagine?
That's a long time.
Who was Vincent wrestling a couple weeks? Oh, was it the Cat? Vincent came out of Nitro.
Oh, yeah.
Was, like the worst.
Hideous.
The worst.
Yeah.
You know who was not the worst? Anyone involved in this here main event.
That was awesome.
It was fun.
I did think it was amazing. I don't know whose idea this was. It may have been Buff for all I know. Buff took a bad bulldog from Rick Steiner and nearly died.
Yeah.
He's out for a long time. As far as I know, this is his first wrestling match since the injury. He's done some stuff, some brawls and some bumps and whatever, but this is his first match. He's in there with Rick Steiner. The bell rings and he's back with him.
Dude, not only that, their ballsy fucking idea for the finish
Yeah.
is Rick is going to give you the bulldog again that broke your neck and almost paralyzed you. And Buff, he kind of got cold feet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it ended up being a clothesline.
Don't
Yes.
blame
But
him.
God damn it, they tried it. I couldn't even believe my eyes.
It was amazing.
Could not believe my eyes. And you know, it's funny. This show has completely turned around when you take these NWO fuckers out of the main event.
Absolutely.
And you just have main eventers have a good match.
Absolutely.
Who would have ever thought?
So we had Goldberg pressing Scott Steiner over his head a half dozen times.
Ridiculous.
We had Scott grabbing his brother, suplexing him over his head, straight back. Just a lot of amazing stuff early. Here's how they got the heat. They exposed the turnbuckle.
Again.
They threw Rick into it, and then they put the turnbuckle pad back on.
Well, they didn't want to go into it.
Genius.
They're not idiots.
That's awesome.
The only flaw with this match is this was an impossibly hot crowd, and they beat on Rick for so long that they killed the crowd. Luckily, he was making a hot tag to Goldberg, and then the whole thing turned around again.
Okay. I know I've asked this question before.
Yes.
I have to ask it again. Are we certain that Bill Goldberg is not the best wrestler of all time?
He is fucking
This
his comeback was so awesome.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
A force of nature. He hits the ring. He's in the perfect place for everything. Everything looks unbelievable. He's not just muscling guys. He's throwing high kicks and spin kicks. He's agile. He's nimble. He looks great. He did a shoulder block.
Oh, a diving shoulder
I don't even
block.
know. I'm going to try to describe how this looks as best I can. He whips Buff into the ropes. He hits the ropes himself. They're running at each other. But Bill stops, jumps 14 feet straight up. And somehow, I don't even know how, he has jumped straight up. I promise you this. But he still manages to collide with Buff with force. It was like a hawk going high in the air.
No.
And then diving into his target.
It is a airplane running into a mountain.
Okay.
And then mountain lost.
Yeah, you knock over the mountain. It's a big airplane.
It was like a helicopter taking off and then pushing forward
Yes.
as it was in the air.
Maybe a meteor hitting a mountain.
He defied physics.
It was incredible.
Stop with your analogies.
A
So-
meteor hitting a mountain, that's pretty fucking accurate if you saw this.
This is just spectacular. He spears the hell out of Buff, and then I was with Brian. I could not believe my eyes when Rick goes to the top rope and Buff's back is to him. Like, part of me wanted to scream, "Run, Buff, run!" But he did the smart thing. He turned around. He took it like a clothesline. They pinned him. Great. It was a hell of a tag team match.
Show was awesome.
It's very, very
This
good.
show was
Second half of the show for sure.
this
Yes.
show no, because they had the Kidman Psychosis match early.
Okay, I will say this. Pretty much everything after that first match.
Yeah, Kidman Psychosis was great. Even
was-
Ray and Bam Bang was fun. It wasn't great, but it was fun.
It had a purpose.
Shat and Flynn was like awesome. And then Benoit Brett and
Yeah.
Goldberg and Steiner and the Flair promo. This was a 5. This was a 12 on the granny scale.
Yeah.
I'd go as far as to
When
say.
I went into it with no expectations, I enjoyed it very much.
We should always go into it with no expectations.
No,
It'll
I'm
help you out
going
a lot.
to it every week thinking it's going to suck.
No, don't do that. It's good all the way till spring break, I was told, which is weeks away.
Brian, his music.
Oh, damn music! People want the old music back. But
Yes,
I can't
yes, they
get
do.
it.
Sing it.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
Here we go. Well, why don't we try?
Something different.
So you got like a dozen tracks there.
How about this one? Maybe I could turn it up.
Good idea. No,
Nah.
that doesn't say game show. That says it's Dave Matthews.
It was very Dave Matthews, wasn't it? Ooh.
All right. Vinny likes that one.
Anyway. The finishes on this show were,
It's too snappy.
after all this work, this is the results you get. Clean pin. Victory via standing up after another guy stood up, but the ref didn't see it. Pin after outside interference. DQ for refusing a rope break. Clean pin.
How about a clam bake?
It's kind of got a hint to what is love, doesn't it?
Sorta. A little more.
No, get out of here.
We are at war.
Let's talk about this show.
Nitro, number 182, March 8th, 1999. So the show opened with a video package of the barbed wire cage being built. All I can tell you is that the first War Games video about that cage being built was 12 years before this and 12,000 times cooler.
Are we sure this wasn't the same video when they built the Hell in a Cell?
Don't remember the Hell in a Cell video.
There was a lot of welding.
I
chain
did
link.
notice at the end, they welded the letters WCW into the steel. And my dad's in construction a lot. He'll comment on this kind of thing. This is some shitty ass welding.
Yes. To be fair, it is basically a cage, so there's not a lot of difference in the construction of said cage,
Yeah. Guess so.
except for the barbed wire part.
Okay, by far and away the worst thing on either show, maybe in my whole month or year, Arn Anderson and Ric Flair having a chat.
Okay. It was 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay. that's the big problem.
And what
Yes.
do they say in those 8 minutes?
Well,
Nothing.
they said the same fucking thing over and over for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm against scripted interviews and such, but at least with a script, it's like there's a beginning and an end. This was like somebody said, well, here's what I want you guys to talk about, and we're just going to go till Flair, you hit this line. And Flair
I guess.
decided he just wanted to talk for a while. Went on and on and on. And there really was not 8 minutes worth of stuff to say.
There may not have been a minute.
Yeah. Arn is concerned that Flair is being cocky. He's concerned that Flair doesn't care about David. And Flair doesn't give a shit. Am I missing anything?
Flair wants to be world champion.
8 minutes.
Yeah, I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot about it. It was
Why?
8 minutes because I was
It was
angry.
8 minutes.
I had nothing else to do. Hammer away on my keyboard.
Okay.
You know what the worst thing about this, besides how shitty it was? For us watching it, we watched this show and it came out of nowhere, and we watched it and we thought, wow, that was awful. This was not original material.
No, it was a replay.
This had aired on Thunder first.
Correct.
Which means they took the entire 8-minute promo from Thunder and showed it to the people who were diehard WCW fans. They made them watch it again, start to finish. What in the fuck?
You know what else, though?
No
Vinny?
one. In fact, no. Not one person could have sat all the way through this a second time. It's impossible.
He's getting riled up already.
This was the worst thing I saw.
Okay.
Really?
Oh, God, by far. I hated this.
Apparently.
I was infuriated after 7 minutes, but like I moved on.
Huh.
Here's the thing. So number one, if this was on Thunder, somebody watched it and said, that was fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. We got to air this in its entirety on Nitro.
Sure.
I guess.
That's ridiculous. Now, so the storyline, this is a very important detail in the storyline. Flair does not care about David. He only wants to win the world title and be the Nature Boy again.
Right.
Correct.
All right? Okay. So this is important. However, if they did not air that, we had another 50 fucking minutes of everybody else repeating the same goddamn storyline.
Yeah.
They didn't need to air this.
No,
If they
that's for
would've-
goddamn sure.
If they would have aired this and then done a wrestling show, then I would have said, fine, you needed this for the story. They did not need this for the story. It sucked. God damn, it sucked.
The Nitro girls were at Brown University.
This sucked.
It did. The only good thing here is that they're using their names more often now, which means I can confirm Spice is my favorite.
Oh,
I have suspected this.
interesting.
First time I was actually able to put it nailed down
Thank God you got her name, Vinny.
Yes.
Now there's hope.
Actually, the only thing good about this is Ricky Rackman was wearing a Super Suckers t-shirt.
They had a contest winner. His name was Doug Kazarian. I don't know if it was Frankie's brother or not.
Doubtful.
Yeah. Had an AC Jazz personality video.
Oh my
my
God.
gosh.
So
You know what?
this follows this 7 minute, 8 minute Ric Flair Arn Anderson thing and some stupid thing with the Nitro girls and Ricky Rackman and some stupid party gimmick. AC Jazz is doing a personality profile.
Right.
She's outside in the grass. Clouds passing by. And then she notes, my dad got electrocuted.
Yeah.
I can't. It's fucking terrible.
It's horrible.
I laughed because of how fucking stupid this was.
And she named herself AC.
I shouldn't even say it was stupid. Oh, Craig, please.
Alternating curse. What? Come on, you didn't make that connection?
No!
Oh,
How ironic. You know what I love? Hot girls talking about their dead fathers. Named AC.
while we're talking about her name, do you think she's ever played jazz in her life?
Maybe. How do you know?
I don't know. She has a southern accent. She's from Georgia. Blonde lady. Likes her dogs.
I feel so bad for laughing about her dad getting electrocuted. It's not funny at all.
There's nothing at all funny
No.
about
It's fucking preposterous that this whole thing even aired, and like right in the middle of it, she just randomly throws that out.
And again, it's not live.
No,
They could have said, you know what? We'll leave the part about her playing with her dogs in there. The public does not need to know that her father was electrocuted working for Georgia Power when she was 10.
And listen, nothing against AC Jazz, okay? But like, what's the point of a personality profile for the Nitro girls? Like, we're going to be more interested in them dancing?
They have names now.
Can you tell me a little bit about Billy Kidman, for example? I'd like to know a little bit about Hoovie's life. Instead, I
Actually,
know
that'd be a good one.
about the tragedy
I'd like to see that.
in AC Jazz's life.
Yeah.
And I fucking know nothing about 90% of the wrestlers on this show, other than their goofy storylines.
We know literally nothing about Lizmark.
I just don't get it. Like, what's the point of this? No one knows.
We had an NWO video with Hulk Hogan talking about how he couldn't deal with Nick stabbing him in the back, like David had done to Ric Flair. Says Flair's ignoring his family. This proves what a piece of crap he is. Just goes on and on and on and on and on. And finally, somewhere in here, he makes it title versus presidency for life. They're going to make
Dude.
Ric Flair the dictator of WCW.
So anyway, like if you didn't notice, they're trying to do a double turn. So Ric Flair, the babyface, is now a selfish prick. Hulk Hogan is pointing out that he is, quote, the rottenest human being on this earth. The most astonishing thing, by the way, is that is actually a word, rottenest. I didn't believe it. I looked it up.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's it. Hogan's turning babyface and Flair is turning heel.
So we've had the cage building video, the Flair and Arn conversation, the AC Jazz profile, the Hulk Hogan interview. This show was 18 minutes old, plus commercials.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that there's no wrestling. It's that the non-wrestling stuff is so long and boring.
No shit. Thankfully, we had the Conan video next.
I've never been so happy to see this video.
Yeah.
This video was the best video I ever saw this week.
Yeah.
They were with Ricky Rackman. They played the video. That was that. Hogan and Nash were on a couch.
Oh, my God. Watching a videotape of last week's Nitro,
Yeah.
which appeared to be in black and white. Mm-hmm. They don't have a color TV.
Wasn't the whole thing in black and white?
Yes.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, it was a black.
It's just like
Who
Mystery
gives a
Science.
shit?
It's like Mystery Science Theater.
I think that's what they were going for.
They're mocking... Think about this, by the way. They're mocking Ric Flair's promo from last week. Mm-hmm. Do you know how good that promo was?
I know you liked it a lot.
Kevin Nash... I mean, there is zero chance that Nash has ever cut one single promo as good as any promo that Ric Flair's cut in his life. Am I wrong? Can you name the last great Kevin Nash promo? Can you name one?
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay, well, he's here making fun of Ric Flair's promo. Making fun of his accent.
To be fair, none of us knew what Flair meant when he said we're going to fill our shoes.
No.
Well, I didn't know that either.
Neither
but
did Nash, neither did Hogan.
Who gives a shit?
That's a
the
line
least
worthy
our...
of being made fun of.
No, get out of here.
Yes, Brian, it's a shitty line.
Making fun of this guy.
So, when all was said and done, they decided our plan of sending a blonde to seduce David Flair to fuck with Ric Flair has failed. We need a plan B.
So the story is that Rick doesn't care about David. And they all admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're still trying to do something that Flair's going to care about regarding David.
Right.
Hello?
I don't know.
He doesn't care.
I don't know. It's not even that he doesn't care. He's actually down with the idea.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He thinks it's cool. That
Wow, he's
David
now
is-
going to have two girls?
He thinks
Great.
it's cool that David is doing whatever it takes to hook up with a hot blonde. Good for him. Lex Luger video package. He flexed his muscles a lot.
Cool.
The cops pulled over Buff Bagwell and Scott Steiner in the bang bus.
Finally something good.
This is okay.
So I like, by the way, there's cameras in the cop car, but not on the bus. So they were driving erratically.
There's a reason for that, Vince.
They were driving. Well,
It's called evidence.
that too. They were driving erratically, and apparently in Boston, if you're caught driving erratically, you can either A, get a ticket and fine, and who knows what happens to your insurance and all this stuff, or B, volunteer for police work, and they take the day off.
Yeah.
So they volunteered for police work.
So are they just driving from city to city for Nitro? Or are we supposed to believe that they're on their way to spring break, but also simultaneously live on Nitro? And they're going the wrong way, I might add.
Yeah, they're in the wrong city.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They appear to be going north.
Yeah, that's
They should be going south.
right. So they busted people for smoking indoors and parking expired meters and littering.
Hey, listen. There was a guy that had an expired parking space, and they said, "Why didn't you pay?" And the guy said, "I had no change." And they tip him over and shake him, and change falls out. He was a fucking criminal. He lied.
That was funny.
That's a crime.
I laughed.
Yeah.
It was
It
dumb.
was
but
funny.
I laughed.
It
Well,
was
he
funny.
didn't pay his, he deserved the parking ticket.
Yes.
And he also lied.
Also, like the woman or the guy trying to throw his trash away, and Scott moves the trash can out of the way so it falls on the ground,
Yeah, that wasn't fair.
and they issue him a ticket.
That was different.
That was police corruption.
Yeah.
For the third time in the first hour, we meet Ricky Rockman. Kidman is there. And Brian, you asked for more information on Kidman. Kidman's here to talk about how great it was that Ray pinned Kevin Nash. This is great for the entire cruiserweight division.
Oh, yeah, sure was tonight.
And this led to a Ray Nash video package, which was hysterical, because based on the music and the tone and the way this was shot, you would think Ray was the monster and Nash was the victim.
Right.
It was kind of funny. Here's what happened. Right? Tori Wilson was at the shooting range,
Right.
firing a gun in her sports bra
Correct.
when Hogan and Nash showed up. They were all in the same town with the same firing range. So they decided they needed to do a plan. One of them says, "Tori, we need you to exercise your talents." And Tori did an evil cackle. They agreed to have dinner in a couple of hours after Tori was done shooting.
At their normal meeting place.
Right.
Do people... I'm not a gun person. Do people go shooting for hours at a time?
Yes.
Well, Tori does.
That's a lot of ammo.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
It sounds expensive.
Yes.
It's Tori Wilson.
So they go to dinner. First of all, Hogan determines everything is cool. Tori says she has another girl, even hotter than me, she says.
She lied.
So
She says, this girl's so hot.
Right.
And they're grilling her, like, how hot is she? She's so hot. No, seriously, how hot is she? She's so hot. Okay, fine, if you're a 10, what's she?
Yeah.
Oh, man, she's a 12. I thought Stacy Keebler's here already? I was certain Stacy Keebler was showing up.
It wasn't Stacy Keebler.
And then it was just some girl.
It was
Yeah.
Mrs. Robinson.
Not a 12.
No,
I mean
God
that in
bless,
the nicest way
God bless
possible.
Tori and God bless Mrs. Robinson. She was not hotter than Tori.
Maybe a high 7.
So, did we add, by the way, when Tori mentioned that she had a hot girl, Nash's first question was, is she Oriental? And Hogan and Nash began to do Japanese accents, which was as classy as you could imagine.
Yes, that happened.
So, Mrs. Robinson, she gave her name and said, just like the moving character, I'm here to seduce the little boy. Not the little boy, you know what I mean. The teenager. Point is, this is a reference to The Graduate,
Get that drop, by the way.
a movie that was 32 years old when this aired.
At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's 51 years old. The teenager she's referring to is Dustin Hoffman, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So they promised Mrs. Robinson $20,000 once the job was done. So I guess this is the point where the first hour ended.
Yeah,
Because
thank
they
God.
finally went to the arena.
This was ungodly horrible. It was so bad. I had to quit the show. As a fan, I'm done with Nitro after that. It's awful.
Go to the arena, pyro's going off. Mean Gene says, I'm here to interview Goldberg, but out come David Flair and Tori Wilson instead.
Are you kidding me? More talking?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So David, for the first time in his life on Earth, had passion and energy. Demanded his dad come out to talk to him. Goldberg came out instead because it was his scheduled interview time. Goldberg apparently hangs out backstage in Nitro wearing jeans but no shirt.
Yeah, he's Goldberg.
Yeah, that's fair. He goes off about how David has no respect for him, and David proves this by putting his fingers in Goldberg's chest.
The best part about this
Gene.
is Gene Okerlund in the background. He's just standing watching. As soon as David starts pounding his finger on Goldberg's chest, you can't hear what Gene says, but he's aghast.
He steps back, he throws up his hands.
And he starts yelling and pointing at David like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, Gene's smart.
He was right.
Gene's been around this business a while. So Goldberg grabs David and muscles him into the corner. Conveniently, at this exact moment, Ric Flair shows up for work.
Yeah.
He walks into the building, sees a monitor. Goldberg's got David. Flair goes sprinting down to the ring, pulls Goldberg off David, chops him twice. Goldberg totally no-sells it. So Flair turns to shout at David for a while. Then he turns around and Goldberg grabs him and press slams him. Flair shrugs this off and he just goes full heel. Vast improvement.
Dude, I gotta say, like, as stupid as this company is, and as horrible as that first hour was, the idea was the beloved 50-year-old Ric Flair is going heel. It took him one interview. He was booed by the end of this.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
he's Ric Flair.
Yep.
On what planet are we to believe that David Flair stood up to Goldberg?
Well, this one. He
I
did.
I
He's an
didn't buy
idiot.
any of this.
He's already hooking up with Tori Wilson. I find standing up to Goldberg,
Second.
yes, more believable. So anyway, Flair cuts this awesome heel promo, and by the end of it, he books himself against Goldberg in the main event, and Goldberg accepts.
Flair says, I was going to let you keep walking around pretending to be the man, but now you're going to have to wrestle me tonight. Goldberg's like, let's go, buddy.
Fine.
He's so
That sounds
excited.
great.
This was astonishing.
It was great. Also a very weird show. Which brings us to Raven versus Hack in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Excuse me, a Falls Count Anywhere hardcore match?
Falls
Okay,
Count
just
Anywhere.
checking.
Yeah.
Keep all this in mind. You may take copious notes during this review to keep track of what's going on. The bell rings, they hug, and then they start fighting. Tony Schiavone says, I have no idea what that was.
Well, they're old friends.
Yes.
Remember, they used to hang out together at Raven's house. Now they're fighting.
They're using all sorts of weapons, fake barbed wire. Chastity is out there again. They did not... Well, finally, far into the segment, they identified her as Raven's sister.
But still no name.
Still no name.
No.
Yeah. I gotta say, Sandman has always been a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yes.
Sure.
He's amazing. Like, he totally sucks, but he's so awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it's possible.
He's the Sandman.
He does weird, wacky bumps. He stands funny. He moves weird.
He's very good at getting whipped into things and going into them upside down.
Yes.
On his head without killing himself.
Yeah.
So it looks funny. So they went like 2 minutes, and Raven did an elbow off the lighting rig through a table, and then Bam Bam Bigelow came out and attacked them, and the bell rang.
It was a disqualification.
I guess.
In a no DQ Falls Count Anywhere
No DQ Falls
hardcore
Count
match.
So they keep fighting, and they keep fighting, and they keep fighting.
For 9
Well-
minutes.
Quickly, in the grand scheme of things, Tony says, that bell was inadvertent. This match is still going on.
Right.
Wrong.
Well,
No,
Tony
that's what he said.
Well, he was wrong.
Sure.
He was incorrect about that. Listen, God bless Tony. First off, Raven does the elbow off the lighting stand. Tony says, we have never seen that before in the history of this business.
Bull.
Then they brawl backstage. Tony says, this is 10 times as brutal as we've ever seen. Incorrect. Then he says, the bell was inadvertent. Wrong. I'm not blaming Tony for any of this. This is a fucking mess. He doesn't give a shit. He's over it.
So they brawl backstage. Raven DDT's Hack on the hood of a limousine. And the best part of this whole thing, Raven hits the DDT. Hack goes on his head and like slides off. So Raven's just sitting on the hood. And here comes Bam Bam Bigelow running much, much faster than any of us could have thought he could possibly run.
Yes.
And he just splats Raven on the hood.
Like a freight train.
Howled with laughter.
You know what's funny about this brawl is they're brawling on this limo, and first, like Hack or Raven or somebody gets thrown on there. Then there's like a DDT. They keep doing shit. And it's like, obviously they're trying really hard to break the window.
Right.
Because they just keep fucking trying to break the window. Finally they do. Which, of course, this is real glass. And shortly we're going to have Goldberg's career nearly ended because
Right.
of fucking glass. Anyway, fun fact. They were told, don't touch the limousine.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, it was not supposed to be a prop.
Oops.
Like, they could brawl all over the backstage, but don't touch the limo. That's all they focused on. It was like all three of them heard, hey, touch the limo. They tried so hard to destroy this limousine.
Either that or it's like when you have a group of kids and you say, kids, you can play anywhere in the yard, but don't go over there.
Yeah, don't
That's
ever
where they
do
all
that with
go.
these three guys.
So they brawled, and they brawled, and they brawled.
For 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And a commercial.
And then they just went to commercial.
No, Vinny, wrong.
No.
They brawled for 9 minutes,
Yes.
and then they cut to a recap of them brawling last week.
That's true.
Then they went to a commercial.
That was
And then
dumb.
we never saw them again.
You're right. I had forgotten that part. Yeah.
That was the most mind-blowing part.
The
We've watched these fuckers brawl for 9 minutes, and all of a sudden I'm watching them brawl last week. Like, do you guys remember they brawled? We're going to remind you in the middle of them brawling that they have brawled previously. I guess they're having a three-way at the pay-per-view.
Wouldn't this
Why
been
would
a-
I care? I don't know.
Wouldn't this been important to run before they started brawling?
You'd think.
Chris Jericho versus Liz Mark Jr.
I enjoyed this match.
Jericho comes out. He begins to cut a promo.
Seriously. This was a good dog collar match.
Brian.
Have you ever watched a dog color match in your life?
For what this was a good dog collar match.
All I know.
There were some good spots.
All I know is that Chris Jericho is talking about his dog collar match with Saturn. He wants Liz Mark to do one tonight. And as he is ranting about this, Tony Schiavone finds it in his heart and his soul to say, too much talking, not enough wrestling.
He's not wrong.
He says,
On this show!
this was the shortest talking segment on the show so far.
Yes.
Jericho is plugging his match at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Tony's exact line is, someone slapped Jericho, too much talking, not enough wrestling here.
The temerity of this man.
Now, Craig, to your point, this match sucked. However, the chain match was the best usage of Liz Mark Jr. because he fucking
Okay.
sucks.
Okay.
So I will give you that.
All right.
But, like, it was just a generic nothing happening chain match.
It was a squash match.
Am I wrong?
Like everything else in the show, it went way too long. I don't think Liz Mark did anything. Jericho beat him up with a chain for, I don't know, 12, 15 minutes.
He did one thing. He tried to come off the top, and Jericho just punches him in the face with the chain.
Jericho won with the Lion Tamer with a chain around the neck. Scott Steiner versus Booker T. The highlight was the fans chanting steroid at Scott Steiner.
See, now this was good.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah. This was,
alright.
it was too long.
Yeah, that's for
With the
sure.
previous match, it was like, hey, there's some wrestling on the show.
Yeah. With
I don't know. I was just excited, I guess.
You were, yeah, I don't know.
So Steiner got the heat, beat up Booker forever. Booker finally fired up, hit the spin Rooney and the sidekick. He goes up top, Bagwell crotches him, and Steiner gets the Steiner recliner for the win.
Okay, I said this was good, but realistically, they made Booker look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Steiner took 95% of this match.
Yeah.
Booker got a tiny comeback and then just submitted. But I mean, the wrestling was,
Their execution of maneuvers
yes.
was very good.
Yes. This reminds me of another match on this show, I might add.
I think this is the point in the program where they actually zoomed out and you could actually see the crowd, and the top part of the arena was empty.
Yeah.
They started their decline probably a few weeks ago.
Yes. Mean Gene interviewed Jerry Flynn backstage.
Ugh.
I was stunned, but then before we could speak, Sonny Ono and the Cat jumped him. And these sons of bitches, these bastards, they cut off Flynn's mullet.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Did him a favor.
No!
Come on, Vinny.
You want Jerry Flynn with
It
a
was
plain haircut?
1999,
You
for
want Jerry
fuck's sake.
Flynn
He
out
was
there?
the last guy with a mullet in wrestling.
Do you want Jerry Flynn out there being a guy?
I don't think that's true.
Jerry Flynn...
I think there's guys with wrestling with mullets today.
All right, listen, I got two things to say about this. Shat jumps him from behind, knocks him out, then challenges him to a fight. That was funny.
Sure.
Okay. The other thing is, this coming Sunday is uncensored.
Yeah.
A night of stip matches.
Oh.
Could you not have just done your goddamn karate match and the winner has to shave his head or whatever? Why'd they cut this off here? And we never saw it again. What a waste of a butchered mullet.
What would Shat have to give up?
Sonny Ono. Sonny Ono's hair.
Goddamn right, I forgot about that. He's bald.
Or
Maybe he'd have to just leave forever.
have to give up his lasers and snow?
Yeah, it's to give his snow back. Snow machine.
It's like lasers.
Yeah.
Hair versus lasers match.
Hair versus lasers and snow. I'm fine with that.
Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Scott Norton.
Here's another one.
Another what?
Another. The idea is to get Ray over.
Right.
Okay.
Bad idea.
Didn't work.
Scott Norton beats the holy fuck out of this guy
I'll say.
for 10 minutes. Smashed him, chopped him, threw over the top, pounded on him, powerbombed him, one-hand choke slam.
You went into more detail than I did. I just wrote beat him and beat him and beat him.
Keeps lifting him up at 2. And then finally, here's the finish. I don't know why the ref was distracted. Maybe he was going to check the time. Ray punts him in the balls. Norton sells this by standing straight up and falling back like a tree. And Ray pins him.
Yeah. Ray had one move. In 10 minutes of action, Ray hit one move. It was a punt to the balls. And that was it.
This was hilariously awful. I'm rethinking liking the show, by the way. The second 2 hours.
This was very, very, very boring with a funny, bad finish.
A load of horseshit. They killed Ray.
And by the way, they're pushing Ray in these words as the Giant Killer.
Yeah.
Right.
They had a guy named the Giant who was on his way out the door.
They let him go.
They didn't do that.
They let him go.
Bret Hart versus Van Hammer.
All right, here we go. That's where the show turned around.
Brian, I agree with you that Bret Hart did a tremendous job of idiot-proofing this match.
Yes.
I would say the load was too great to bear.
Oh, come on.
Van Hammer sucks.
He does suck.
And
But you
this
know
was
what?
10 minutes of Van Hammer.
How would you rate it?
On a granny scale?
No, on star rating.
Star ratings. 1.5.
1.5.
This was not
I'd go 2.
I gave it 2 3/4.
No!
Yep,
Why?
I did.
Everyone quit.
Oh, get out of
Everyone
here.
unsubscribe.
It was
this
not
opinion
that
is not worth paying
bad,
for.
Vinny. Come on.
It was below average.
Dude, let me ask you this.
Was this not the best match of Van Hammer's career?
Probably.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, but
It still sucked. If I shoot you 6 times, one of those bullets is going to hurt less. Does that mean that that's a 2 3/4 star bullet?
it depends on which one kills him.
I thought I had bad analogies. That was horrific. What were you going to say?
Okay, let me ask you this. Bret Hart idiot-proof this match.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes. I 100% agree.
Why in the world did he competitively wrestle Van Hammer? Hold on, I'm not done.
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
This did nothing to get Bret Hart over. Bret Hart beating Van Hammer in 30 seconds might have helped him get a little more over. This did nothing for Bret Hart.
I know, Craig, but this is the point you're missing here. It's fake. Okay?
Hold on, let me write that down.
So somebody in the back had a thing on the wall that said Bret Hart, Van Hammer, 11 minutes. So Bret couldn't go out there and go 30 seconds with Van Hammer. He had to go 11 minutes,
God
right?
forbid somebody on Nitro is unprofessional.
All I'm saying is
They couldn't have give Goldberg and Flair a couple more minutes?
this was an idiot-proofed match by Bret Hart.
I agree.
Everyone in professional wrestling should watch this match to find out how to get something out of somebody who fucking sucks.
That's fine.
You'll never see a better Hammer match.
No.
Never.
Ideally, I'll never see another Hammer match, period. So, yeah, Brian, go ahead.
One other thing.
Okay.
It's not just, here's how to get a decent match out of a guy who sucks. But here's how to get a decent match out of a guy who sucks when you're given 11 minutes. That's even more impressive.
That is fair.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
This is the best you could possibly get at a Van Hammer for 11
That should be in the Library of Congress. This match.
So here's the finish. Apparently, Van Hammer has a finish. It's a Cobra Clutch Slam.
I didn't know that.
We are told.
Oh, we've never seen it
How
before,
ironic,
so.
by the way. It's Jinder's finish.
Oh, well, yeah. So he hits it, and Bret kicks out, and then puts on a sharpshooter and wins.
Well,
There's very little I'm leaving out there. There was like one counter or something. I don't know, but
yeah, he went for an Inzagiri,
that's right, yeah.
and then Bret ducked and put on the sharpshooter for the pin.
So Bret wins clean. The only clean finish on either show of the night. 5 hours of wrestling, one clean finish.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he has his clean finish, then he grabs a chair to beat Hammer up for a while. Great! Why can't guys do that more often? Instead of grabbing a chair and getting themselves disqualified to lose.
Well, Bret's been doing that for a while.
He did. You're right. Bret did
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, Bret's a very, very good wrestler.
So 20-some years into this, Bret figured it out.
I loved this. I didn't love it, but I was in awe. I watched every second of it. Because when it started, I thought, here's what I wrote when the match first started. Let's see how good Bret Hart is.
Bret Hart's really good.
And you know what my next line is? Pretty damn good. Best match of Van Hammer's career.
Okay.
I stand by this.
Hogan and Nash come out. They took over the announce desk. Nash admits, we have tried to get inside Flair's head, and, quote, he hasn't sold it. And they laugh about how good they are at telling the truth.
God, this was them jerking off into a ceiling fan.
This was the most horrendous commentary I've ever heard. It sucked.
Craig's?
I ignored it. I tried to move on past that comment.
Ric Flair versus Goldberg.
Hey, this was good.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
So, first of all, to credit Kevin Nash, he says, I've been in wrestling for 25 years now, or whatever he says. Why does Ric Flair wear his knee pads below his knees?
Because he's got skinny calves.
And as Flair, someone finally Flair answered the question. Years after this, he's got skinny calves. So this was a hideous, terrible pro wrestling
Why not
show.
get taller boots?
Ask Ric Flair.
Thigh highs?
Well, up to his knee.
Okay.
Yeah.
They still be skinny.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
He wants the knee pads to have bulk on his calves.
ridiculous.
Who are you to argue with Ric Flair?
that's true.
So
I'm Brian Alvarez.
And he's Ric Flair.
you've proven my point.
Hey, neither of us are fashion mavens, okay? Me or Rick. Actually, he is.
Yes, he is. What are you talking
What the
about?
fuck am I talking about? All right, let's go.
Flair and Goldberg had an awesome match.
Yeah.
First thing I noticed was as hideous as this pro wrestling show was, when Goldberg, both of them, but especially Goldberg, when he comes out there, this is main event, serious, big time stuff.
Yeah, he's the
Everyone's-
real deal.
He's the real deal. Everyone's totally into this.
There's no bullshit ever with Bill Goldberg.
So he's out there being awesome, and Ric Flair loves to get beat up in matches. Goldberg is one of the best guys at beating people up in matches. This is a perfect mesh. So Flair's having the time of his life, getting press slammed and punched over and over again. Even Hogan and Nash, the heels, are putting Goldberg over about how impressive he is and how no one did what he accomplished so quickly. And then Nash add, there was that one cat from the Emerald City. It was an Oz joke.
Yeah.
So Flair, it's finally time for the heat. And so Ric Flair began an all-out, no-holds-barred assault on Goldberg's testicles.
Yeah.
Knees and punches and
His
elbows
gonads.
and kicks. Just over and over and over. He was working over these balls like a speed bag, just attacking them. Eventually, Goldberg escaped to figure 4, decided it was time to stop selling, but Flair dodged the spear, and he hits his big delayed vertical suplex, and Goldberg no-sells. That pops up, spears him to death. People are jumping up and down. They were so happy for this. And then the NWO ran in and attacked for the DQ. So that was the finish.
Yeah, shitty finish, but that was a hell of a match, too. That one should also be in the Library of Congress.
I enjoyed it. That was my favorite thing on
Both shows.
the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I got to give Brett credit because this was every Ric Flair match you've ever seen with a big guy.
To a degree.
Brett at least had to have some kind of fucking match
Brian,
with Van Hammer.
I will concede this point. This was not the best match I've ever seen Goldberg had. That was the best match I've ever seen Van Hammer
Yeah,
have.
so you know what's going to happen today, Vinny? And Craig?
Yeah.
It's been a long goddamn time, but there's going to be some entries into the Hall of Awesome.
Oh.
And it's been so long, I'm adding 3 people.
Okay.
I'm adding Bret Hart, Ric Flair,
Yeah.
and Goldberg to the Hall of Awesome.
Did you say Goldberg is 2 words?
I did. Anybody have any
no, ringing endorsements all around.
That's right.
Ric Flair and Bret Hart and Goldberg are awesome.
You'll
How
get
could
no
they not
argument
be in the
from me.
Hall of
Goldberg
Awesome?
is actually like 100 times more awesome than... I remember him being awesome, but not nearly as awesome as he actually was.
He should be in the real Observer Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I strung after his second run in WWE and this run here, like he's such a better worker than he was ever given credit for. And he was doing good promos on this show.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't a bad promo.
He was a good promo.
Yeah,
No,
he
he
had-
wasn't even a neutral promo. His promos were good.
He was a megastar.
He was awesome.
He was the only goddamn good thing in this company right now,
Yes.
aside from Flair and Bret Hart. But they're all going in. Bret Hart, Ric Flair, and Goldberg into the Hall of Awesome. Mm-hmm. It's a proud day for me here.
Brian, do you have my music ready?
No! Wish I had the Hall of Awesome music.
Is there Hall of Awesome music?
I'll do a cliff on that right away.
I think we chose this one for you, right?
No. Let's play some songs.
That's the one you like.
The finishes on this show were a DQ that didn't count in a Falls Count Anywhere match, then a non-finish that did count in the same match. Submission via chain-assisted lion tamer. Submission after outside interference. Clean submission. DQ due to interference.
Man. That show sucked.
Worse than most Nitros in that regard.